building onto the actors thing, Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
Deadpool.
Only because of Deadpool?
Pretty much.
I was going to say Ryan Reynolds because, like, his comedy.
I mean, the only reason Gosling is even in the conversation is because of Barbie and Fall Guy. Before that, he was as bad as the same story as Brad Pitt and all them, too. He was just this one. Well, he did La La Land also. So he's, again, you start paying attention to the big picture, and he has started to build that reputation now. But it's only been over the last not even decade that he's built that reputation. Let's see what he does in the next decade. These guys have already done it. Ryan doesn't deserve it yet. Gosling. Reynolds, he almost always plays the same character in every one of his movies, so he's not high on the list of actors.
Yeah, I was going to say Ryan Reynolds because out of the movies I've seen of him, like, the personality he plays is really fun. And then what you told me of Deadpool, because I haven't watched it yet.
Not for a couple more years.
That's what I hope to not see it for a couple more years. And then I've seen, like, how he acts behind set of some movies on YouTube when it just comes up. And he seems like a really nice guy. But also because me and Hannah watched the movie If, which means imaginary friend. Mm-hmm. And he was in that. And he played such a good role. And I think he did it well. So.
Yes, but was it any different from the role he plays in Deadpool? You don't know because you haven't seen it. Was it, you know what I mean? Like, if you look at all of his movies, does he really play a different person? Like, Jason Bateman doesn't play a different person all the time. He's always the same exact character in every single movie, but they're all great. I don't know how he gets away with it, but it's hilarious, and we know it's going to be fun. Same thing, well, Adam Sandler's too. I mean, he's played a couple different roles, but he's always the silly person in the show every single time. He doesn't really have much depth.
Do you know the show? I forget what it's called, or it might be called this, but it's about Mr. Bean.
Yeah, what about Mr. Bean? He's had his own movies, his own TV show. Yeah.
So
the
TV show where he doesn't talk and just his facial expressions. I've never seen it, but we watched a clip in class because we were trying to learn how, like, describing facial expressions, what we hear and see.
He just did a lot of facial expressions.
Well, the clip we saw, he didn't talk one bit. It was just mostly how he acted. We were just trying to, like, take in consideration all that because we were trying to write something. And so I was going to ask when, like, his big break was on movies and, like, if he's one of your favorites for...
No, but he's from England. It's a whole different world. Like, I prefer Monty Python over Mr. Bean when it comes to what came out of London or came out of England. Mr. Bean is just clever. There's the American version of Mr. Bean is what's the guy? Shoot.
What's the character he plays, if I know it?
No, different person. It's on the top of my head. Oh, I can't believe I'm forgetting this guy. Shoot, there's a guy that is like an American version of Mr. Bean that made a bunch of terrible movies that are hilarious. But I forget his name off the top of my head. It'll come to me, but no, I never really cared. I thought Mr. Bean was okay for the first movie or two, and then I didn't care anymore. Not to the level of Monty Python and some of the other sketch comedies that were going on. And
then the show you showed me and Mom on Disney Plus of all the 90s stuff, you looked at it and you laughed, like, hard about it. It's because it, like, talked about 90s and, like, how you grew up. And some of it was, like, the technology. And then I made I, like, said, because of, what were we talking about? And it had to do with, like, messaging on technology and all that stuff. It was, like, on the show, we had, like, a whole conversation about it because I thought it was something else entirely. Mom talked about how she would be, like, in the basement of the library or something like that because she talked to, like, people online. Mm-hmm. We had some conversation about that, and then I'm like, yeah, well, you guys are old.
Yeah, well, she didn't have a computer at home. Our internet was dial-up. It wasn't anything like we have now where you had to pay for every minute of being on your computer online. There was no internet. So, like we talked about earlier, like we had the bulletin boards. And so she could go to the library to get information from other libraries, to get information from people that are on these bulletin boards. She could get research done through that, but there was nothing else we could do because we didn't have all the things we have now. Or you'd have to call a place to get information from them. You wouldn't be able to just email them or look it up on their website and pull the information off of it. It was a completely different universe for us. In fact, our phones were connected to the wall.
And you had to use like a phone book.
Yes.
I forget the conversation we had, but like I was like, okay, that's very weird because everything that was going on, they just called you and Mom old.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't regret it because it's true.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
No, Grandma and Grandpa are old.
They're old.
I'm middle-aged.
Yeah, but that's still old.
To you.
Yes, to me.
To my parents, I'm still a baby.
Well, yeah, because you're their baby boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but if they saw a random like person who's like 50 or 50 something, they'd be like, they might not think it because like they're old themselves, but like kids are gonna think 50s and late 40s are old.
Sure. I mean, I did when I was in my 20s. I was like, man, I can never imagine being 40. Man, you're old.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I had a conversation with like someone recently, and they're like, 50's not old, 70's old. I'm like, I think they're both old.
Thanks.
Trying to think of like what else I had to talk about. I had wrote down some of like the 90s shows we were talking about, which was The Friends, Beverly Hills, Party of Five, and I forgot to write down the rest. And I wanted to like talk to you about if we could find it in Nashville Rec Room.
Nope.
There isn't one?
It's only in Vegas. Vegas is unique because it's a tourist attraction only. It's in the middle of the desert. So way back in the 30s, 40s, maybe the 40s, I'd have to look back, somewhere around the 30s or the 40s. Maybe it was the 50s. Sorry, I don't know. I think it was the 40s or the 50s. It was actually the mob from New York, one of the guys had this bright idea to put a couple hotels and an airport in the middle of nowhere in the desert in Las Vegas, in Nevada. And everybody was like, what? That's insane. And he was like, but no one would know what we were doing. We can make all the money in the world off of this stuff. Like they could launder money. They could do so many illegal things because who's going to watch them? And that's how it all started. And they literally put an airport and a couple hotels out there and invited all of their friends, and it was just a crazy thing. And then it just built from there. So it's always been a place of luxury, a place of extreme, a place where you've never seen something like that before. And it's just over the top on every way possible. I mean, every hotel is a city block. They're huge. It's a good 20-minute walk from one hotel to the next. So all this kind of stuff that they have out there for entertainment just builds on the reason why you go out there. There's nothing like it anywhere else in the world.
I had like a tickle in my throat, and I just wanted to let you finish. So basically, if it built up from like the one hotel and airport, and then people were like, oh, this is a good idea, and they added all this stuff. Why isn't like they bring some of that? Because we even went to Gatlinburg and stuff, and we could only find like go-kart riding there, and we can't really find it here. Like Nashville's Music City, shouldn't it have more for tourists?
It does, but it's not the same tourism you're thinking about. Music City is about the music. So you go down to Broadway and every single bar has music. And they're a great time. And yes, we have a huge following of people that go downtown just for that reason alone. Outside of that, yeah, they'll find a couple other things to do, but they're there to listen to new bands, listen to, old music, but they get obsessed with these. For example, I have a buddy of mine, John Bell, who lives somewhere near Indianapolis, Indiana. And in my industry, met him through it all and stuff like that. One day I was talking to him at one of our conferences, and I said, and he was like, yeah, I go to Nashville all the time. I was just there or something like that. And I was like, what? Why didn't you tell me? And he's like, I didn't think about it. I always go down to Roberts, and I'm like, oh yeah, my favorite band, one of my favorite bands down there is in Roberts, and they're really good friends of mine. And he was like, yeah, I go listen to the, shoot, what are they called? The Silver Threads. And I went, what? That's the band I'm talking about. And he goes, you mean like Eileen and Rich Gilbert and everybody? And I'm like, you even know their names? Because I've been going there for years, and I go meet them every single time and say hi to them. And I'm like, huh? And these are friends of mine. I have their phone number in my phone right now. They came and played for me at a party I had. And one of them still does stand-up bass downtown, and I say hi to him every time I go downtown and take people on tours. That's Nashville. That's the point. And these people follow them, and they get to see if maybe this is going to be the next up-and-coming star, and they may be able to follow them and get to know them and stuff like that. You never know. You just never know. It's a dream. Everything about downtown Nashville is that dream to make it big as a musician. And all of us are just watching to see if it happens, see if they get their big break. That's what's so obsessive about Nashville. We don't need a rec room, even though it'd probably do well.
Yeah, I want a rec room.
It was pretty cool.
Okay.
So we went down there once. John Bell came to town, and the two of us went to see them, and they just kind of looked at us like, how do you know each other? It was so funny, but they know him too. It was really weird.
If we got more tourist attractions here, what would you recommend? Like, what would bring tourists other than Music City? Like, while you're downtown.
We don't have a desert to ride razors in, so we don't have a track for razors because that was pretty awesome. Well, we need an art museum, a real art museum. Sorry, Frist, but you're not good enough. So from a museum point of view, we do need to expand on that kind of stuff. The problem is, it's where would we put something now? Because now we have a soccer team that was huge to get. Where would we put these things? Because we're expanding, and it's difficult to kind of figure out how to piece the puzzle together because we're growing so fast. But I don't know. It's a tough question because everything is about the music here, and I don't know. I think it's pretty cool the way it is. I think some of it's gotten out of control, but I don't see an issue with where it's going right now, so it's all good. I mean, there's a lot to do here. There really is. You're just not old enough to do it yet.
Yeah, because it's like every time we're thinking over fall break what to do, the only ideas are like roller skating,
The game terminal.
yeah,
I mean, that's
bowling.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and those are cool. It's just like everything that you're talking about, like the bars are bars. That's like
Yes.
21 and older. Or like going down to Nashville, most of it is like somewhere where you're supposed to be 18,
Well, and
21.
there's areas like 12th Avenue South and 8th Avenue South where there is and Wedgwood, Houston, where they are now in East Nashville, where people are starting to come here and then they're starting to go out a little bit to go do other things. And those areas have more mom and pop restaurants and have like breweries and stuff, but they don't have activities very much. They've started, I mean, there's a lot of weird tours and stuff like that make no sense, but I don't know. It's a really tough question. I don't know where Nashville could go next with tourism to keep it going. I mean, you got the Opryland Hotel, which is pretty touristy and pretty cool to be at, but it's mostly about the music, and it's about how can we make it more music friendly, really. Because I think we are making another venue. So we've had new venues show up around the area to bring more music here consistently. Stuff like that is still big. I learned that when I went to Vegas for my pool tournament, and I bought a ticket to go see Dead and Company at the Sphere. And I could not believe how many people I met that's the only reason they went to Vegas was just to see that concert. So that was pretty cool, and I never think about it because I'm so spoiled here about how many people take a family vacation or a weekend vacation with their significant other just to go see a concert or to see a Titans game. Because we live here, so it's like numb to us. It's like, okay, so what? And I would never go to Vegas just to go see a concert. I was already going. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting to see how many people were traveling just to see one thing. And they do it all the time. I always think about going to see something near me, not go to the other side of the country to go see it.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about concerts that much. I try to.
Mom and I went to Louisville for that one concert festival. We used to go to Chicago. It was a 6-hour drive, but it was a festival. It wasn't one concert. We've never gone to see one band on purpose in another state. Never.
Yeah, I've only looked at like bands a few times for concerts, and I never really realized until how you're bringing it up now that we do live in Music City. So like most bands are like, hey, we gotta head down here, because I never really thought about it until now.
Not only do they have to come to Nashville no matter what to play if they want to be in the center of everything, but also how many bands now live here because it's cheaper to record or it's a cool town to be at. And then on top of that too, how many struggling musicians move here to start off their career and then find out later that they're more valuable now going to another city and going, well, I'm from Nashville. It's like, oh, you played in the big time and now you're in, middle of nowhere, Ohio, playing in a band or running, doing your own thing, and you become a bigger name. Like one of my friends was on The Voice, the first season of The Voice, one of my old employees, and then for years he was very successful being a musician, having a band and everything like that, and running the business out of it. But it was more important for him to go travel and be from Nashville than to perform in Nashville. And he made more money going away from Nashville than he ever would in because we're numb to it here.
Oh no, it's just me. I keep hearing knocking.
Oh, that's me.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know if like someone's knocking, and earlier I heard like Lane yell 2 times.
Mike can't hear it as much as you can, but yes.
It's like sending me crazy.
It took me a second to figure out that was finally me.
Yeah, I was just like, am I hallucinating?
Yes, you are.
How many like bands have you seen in Nashville? Or
I can't count that high.
Because I know you go to concerts often.
I had to make up for years of not having anywhere near me.
And then like bands coming in the future, who do you hope comes that you can see?
Radiohead.
I remember when I did, I tested you and Liz on the questions. One of them was, what band changed into Radiohead? I forget what band it was though. Or it was something like that. It had radio in the name, so I'm guessing it was Radiohead. But like a band changed its name or something like that. I'll have to check the questions again.
Yeah, I don't know what it changed from.
Oh, I already asked you the question. Like, what bands do you hope to come other than Radiohead?
That's definitely one. I want to say Red Hot Chili Peppers, but both of those concerts can be so big. Maybe Radiohead won't be as big. Radiohead would probably be at the soccer stadium. That still would be okay. I don't want to go to see a concert at Nissan. Like Metallica's coming, and I really thought I was going to want to go, but man, that place is so big. They're going to be little ants singing in the distance. What's the point? So really the great thing about Nashville is finding bands that are going to come to the Ryman or to Bridgestone where you really get to see the band. Pearl Jam just did it last year, so that was a big deal, or 2 years ago. Trying to think of who I've been dying to see that I haven't seen or want to see again. And I know David Gilmour is recording or is touring right now. He's the other side of Pink Floyd. I've seen Roger Waters 3 or 4 times now. But I'd like to see David Gilmour because I think he's the greatest guitarist of all time and really the lead of Floyd. Sorry, Waters, but I think Gilmour was what really kept that team together better. And so I would love to see his interpretation of their music too. And he just started his first tour, but they're like 80 years old. Like, this is it. If I get one more chance, great. Some of them, like the Rolling Stones I never went to see. I wish I would have, but I don't want to go see them now. They're like 90. I don't know how they're still doing it. Everybody says their concerts are still great to this day, and I'm like, how? They're 85, 90 years old, but they're still killing it. So, as for like new bands, I haven't really thought that far. I'm always watching, but what have we been talking about? New stuff that we want to see. Like, Vampire Weekend was a good one. Like, I wish I could go see that. I'm jealous that I don't get to see it next week.
I remember it was like, maybe last September or something like that. It was like around this time last year. I found out Ticketmaster existed, so I was just like scrolling on there being like, oh, these are some artists I'm into, and it's like, oh, they don't have anything. And I searched up Olivia Rodrigo. I think it might have been November or something. And I found out, oh, she's going on tour. I heard from no one it was happening. And I found out it was like February 8th or something on a Friday. She was coming to Nashville. So I sent Mom a
But you did it
message.
too late, yeah.
No, I sent it on time. No one had gotten tickets yet. It was like perfect. She viewed it 4 days later. It was sold out.
That's why you have to do this to me, not to Mom.
You were out of town, plus you're not an Olivia Rodrigo fan.
It doesn't matter. I'm the one that knows how to look up concert tickets.
And now I know this. And I'm really sad I didn't get to see her because she's one of my favorite artists. Because I know like all of her songs.
Yeah.
So I wish I saw her. I wish she came back.
She will.
She will?
Yeah, their next tour. I mean, every couple of years they'll do a new album and do a new tour.
Her last album was like 2018.
Okay. That means one's coming soon.
I don't think so. Because like it took her forever to get Guts out. So I don't know
Okay.
if
That means she's probably working on it right now is the point.
And if she comes, I want to be one of the people to go.
I'd like to see Alice in Chains one more time. The lead singer died years ago, but I saw him once acoustic and it was great. I'd like to see them again. I've been waiting for them to come back. But I've got to see so much, it's hard to ask for something now. My bucket list is almost gone. I've really seen almost everything.
I know Sabrina Carpenter is out there, like, doing songs now, and I like a lot of her music.
Your other, that
I don't-
other one, that Chapel Roan, was just here.
She was?
Yeah, but it was during the week. I couldn't tell you. It was down in Franklin.
She also performed with Olivia Rodrigo not that long ago.
Yeah.
Let's make this funny.
Yeah.
I was with Grandpa and Grandpa Floyd and Grandpa David when we found out who Chapel Roan was, because she was popular, but like not how much she is right now, because like in a few months she skyrocketed. But she was going to this Pride festival there, and usually there aren't really like too much tickets for a festival here in Nashville, but at the Pride festival they had to limit numbers because there's probably 200,000 people coming only for Chapel Roan.
Sure.
Chapel or Chappelle?
I don't know.
We had a whole debate on how to say it because we didn't know how to, so I forgot to say her name. But her music is great and it's like so fun to listen to, and she's like LGBTQ plus, so that's fun.
Sure.
But like I didn't really hear about her I didn't hear about her until like I saw on YouTube like she went to, I don't know if it was the Grammys or some type of like where everyone would dress up and take pictures, and like there's music artists, actors, actress. And she was there, and I noticed, hey, I never noticed she was online before. And so I looked up her music, and she had like an album or two that was released in 2024 that went popular, and now she's actually like touring. I wish I went to hers though. That would have been fun.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up with. And also check out, I hate to say this, but check out AXS.com, because that's the new competition for Ticketmaster. And that, or, look up event places like the Ryman or Ascend and follow what they're putting out there, because I just did that. I just bought tickets to Gary Clark Jr. That's another one. That's who I was playing last night when we were playing volleyball. I think he's an amazing guitarist, and he's coming in March, and I just happened to notice the email from the Ryman, and it said tickets on sale right now, pre-sale, here's the code. And I was sitting at the office and I was like, click, typed in the code, bought 2 tickets right there and then for Mom and I, or for one of my friends, because I don't know if she's going to want to go. Boom, at the Ryman. So those kind of things, you have to be on top of it. You have to, it's probably better to follow the location you want to go to even more than just Ticketmaster and Access, because they're going to advertise and they're going to give you codes. So that's why you just have to ask me, because then I get all of that stuff, because I follow the Ryman and Ascend and a couple of them. By doing that, that gives me a code to be able to do the pre-sale all the time, 90% of the time, which is the only way to do it. If you don't do the pre-sale, you're good luck. Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Yeah, so it would be like, I would want to see the...
Or you follow the band, because then they give you a special one too.
I've tried to find tickets, so like for Olivia Rodrigo, I didn't hear anything, so I actually searched up in my free time. But then there's Sabrina Carpenter. I didn't know she was going on tour after she released like Espresso and all those. And I like most of her music, and I wish I knew sooner. But I know I can't even search it up now because I know she's gonna be sold out.
Doesn't matter. You always can look.
I looked like I thought about it way too late. And so like her and like people like Taylor Swift and stuff, they sell out so fast. But that like 2 weeks pass by until I find it on YouTube, and it's so sad to know.
See, like, well, Taylor Swift would be at Nissan now, but when I had season tickets to hockey, I would, if they were performing at Bridgestone, we would get tickets. Easy. That's one thing I do miss. It was kind of an incentive to have those hockey tickets, was just to go to more concerts there and more events there too. Any events.
So most of the people I like listen to are like one song by one person. So it's like I don't like most of their music because they don't have a lot of music out, and so I would go see people like Peggy and stuff, but I don't think she's going on tour, and I wouldn't notice until it's too late and stuff. But then like Noah Kahan, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I only like the Stick Season song, but when I was on a call with Cam earlier, he was like, "Oh, you know Noah Kahan's going on tour and going to be in Nashville sometime." I'm like, "Yeah, I only like one of his songs. It's not worth it."
He was just here recently.
That's when like Cam brought it up. Is like
Yeah.
the recently.
I know.
And then I'm just like, I don't really like most of his
Two
music.
Nights at Bridgestone, he has one album. I don't understand.
But like that one album, people love.
I still don't know how he has enough music to be a main. I don't get how that works. Because you have to be able to have like an hour and a half, 2 hours of music, at least. I mean, how long did Green Day play for example? 3 hours?
That's gonna be my guess.
You know? And so how can this guy have one album and sell out Bridgestone twice without enough music to, what are you doing?
And then if you think of like most of the popular artists, rap is going like viral right now.
Again?
I don't know if it's
what
again.
about rap is going viral?
I don't know. I just find it everywhere. And then most of my friends are like obsessed with rap or country and stuff. And I'm like, that's the only two I hate on music genres. Because like I can listen to pop if you play
Especially
like,
rap right now. There is nothing positive about rap right now.
yeah, that's the weird thing. Is like my friends are obsessed with like, for example, Lemonade. I forget who it's by, but it's a song. Hannah knows all the words, and I'm sitting there like, I only know 2 words from this because of you, Hannah. Other than that, I don't like the song. And so I only have rap in my playlist, which is like 3 songs because of Hannah, because I'm trying to like, she's my inspo, to be honest. But like, I don't like rap, and it's kind of like everywhere, especially with a lot of my friends, and I just have to like sit there and put up with it. Because I can put up with like rap and Taylor Swift, I just don't enjoy it.
You don't enjoy Taylor Swift either?
I'm not a Swiftie, no.
Okay.
It's
good to know.
I only like the song Enchanted and like 2 others, Reputation, one other, and that's like the only songs I like by her. The rest is like, I can deal with it because Hannah and T are Swifties. I can just deal with it. It's like the Beatles.
No, not like the Beatles at all. Their songs have meaning.
Oh, also, do you know what was up with like how Taylor has Taylor's version now? Was it she had all these producers that made her sing the songs?
No.
Or what?
No, she lost all the rights from the label to her music. And so she had 2 options, and she took a smart way to do it that I don't think anybody's ever done. Usually you sue for your rights and then you pay an absorbent amount of money to get your rights back. Instead, she said, screw you guys, and went and recorded every song all over again and put all new albums back out of all the songs, so she has the rights to them all now. So she re-recorded every song, which I thought was clever.
Well, it's not that hard then because she's not like rewriting them.
No, but it's still hard because you got to put it all together. It still costs money. And so the question is, did it cost more to redo it all, or did it cost more to go to court and pay for the rights?
With how popular she was with her, like before she created Taylor's version, which would say 3/4 of how popular she is now, that might have been expensive music to buy back. So I say what she did would probably cost less.
I'm still proud of her for doing that because that was ballsy, and it was like, screw you, I'm taking control. It's one of the hardest things about being an artist because we've talked about this before. Like, I sell, this isn't a real painting, but I sell this painting right here to you. I still own the right to the painting. It's still my painting. It's almost like you're leasing it for the rest of its life. You own it, but I can ask for it back if I need it. So if you resell this painting for twice the amount you bought it for, I'm supposed to get a royalty check because I still own the rights to it. You own the physical, but I own the rights to it. If you try to sell a print of it, that's why those NFTs are so important. All that NFT crap that's going on, that's because they literally are selling the rights of that image. That's why they're so expensive. You can sell the rights for $1 million, and then that person can make $1 billion off of it. It doesn't matter. You don't have any right to it anymore. I can't do that. I would not let go of my rights to my work. But that also means that, so you can't make a print of it and you can't capitalize on my image. I own the rights to it. You can make a deal with me where we both make money off of it and I make royalties, sure. But you can't just go and take this and start making prints of it and selling it. On top of that too, I have the right to ask for it for a gallery show, for a museum show. I can't sell it again, but I can put it in a retrospective. So I can come to your door and I can knock on your door and say, hey, I need my painting for a show coming up. If you refuse it, I can take you to court and force you to give it to me. And I will win because I still have the rights to it. You will get it back, but if you want to fight it, you will lose. So you have to work with me and go, okay, I got to take care of everything or whatever, but I own the right to my work still no matter what for 70 years after I die. Our estate does. Like that does not going to happen with my work because nobody knows about it, but hypothetically. So, doing that stuff that Taylor Swift did and things like that changed those rights and changed control over those rights and there's been a few bands, like one of my favorite bands, Tool, they lost the rights to the name of their band for 10 years. And it was stuck in court for 10 years just to get the rights of the name back that they had accidentally in some contract, some reason they didn't have the right to the name of their band. So that's how sneaky the music industry can be, or any of these industries. Like a gallery takes 50% of everything I sell. Whatever the price is, they get 50%. It doesn't mean I get to add 50% more to the price of the painting. I don't get to go in there and go, well, normally I sell this painting for $8,000, so let's sell it for $16,000. No, I still sell it for $8,000. And if you come to me in the gallery show and you go, hey, I want to buy this painting, but I don't want to buy it right now, can I make a deal with you after the show's over? The gallery still has rights to the sale of that for like 3 to 6 months after the show before you can legitimately sell it at full price without them coming back to you. But it's still going to offend them if they find out about it. So like there's this whole politics to how all this kind of stuff works from an artist's point of view. And the artist is the one that gets screwed every single way possible.
This is a sad song.
Yeah, well, no one knows that other than us.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. I forgot it was like out.
Yeah, we've been listening to music the whole time. Radio.
Yeah.
All right, we good? I think that was
enough. I wanted to add one thing about like the artist, and I kind of have a question onto it. Another artist I've been like obsessed with is Billie Eilish because of her new album was like great. I saw videos of like before, it might have been like 10 years ago or whatever, she was on tour. Mm-hmm. Is she ever going on tour again, or is she going to wait till she releases like 12 more albums?
No idea. She's in a weird world right now mentally. Where she's body shaming herself, and I think she's having a lot of issues with being in the public because she got so big so fast so young. So I don't know what her plan is. It's an interesting one. She's been on a lot of shows. She's been out there in the public. She's been vocal, but I don't know when she plans on touring again. The problem is that bands make money touring now. They don't make money making songs. So like the newest songs that she's putting out right now on Amazon and Apple and all that kind of stuff, they're making pennies. They have to go on tour if they want to make money. The point is she doesn't need it because she's made so much money so fast. Same thing with Taylor. So whenever she feels like she needs to make some more money, she'll go on tour again.
Or like to keep fans and stuff.
No. She'll keep the fans by putting new music out.
Okay. I kind of feel bad that she's like shaming herself or feeling bad for like who she is.
Yeah, I don't know if she's doing it on purpose to make a statement for other people as like, you know, this is where my credibility, like this is how big of a name I have. What can I do with it? Or if she really does feel that way, I have no idea. You know, it could be a facade, not in a bad way. I'm not saying that in a negative. That's a positive thing to help other people out. I don't know what her intention is behind it and if she really feels that way or if it's, you know, there's more to it than that. But still, that's what I've noticed. I've seen her talk about it.
If this ever goes into retrospect personally, like her music is something I think me and my friends like look up to, and how popular she is, I don't think she should be worrying about that unless it's like
I agree with you, and that's the point.
Herself.
But that's the thing. That's not how it works.
I know people feel people feel different ways, and just like if this ever blows up or something like that, and she sees us, she shouldn't feel bad. Because personally, with like her image and stuff, I think a lot of people look up to or like think about often, not in negative ways. And for people who tell her negative ways, they suck.
Right. Well, there's all the trolls out there that try to make things, you know, there's 2% of everything that goes on affects the other 98%. It's ridiculous. It drives me crazy right now in the society we're in with social media, how powerful that 2% is of nobodies with nothing else to do but sitting in their parents' basement trying to make fun of you, you know, but they're out there. They've always been out there. It's just now they have easier access to us. Because, I mean, I've been through it. I've been bullied many a times, too. I've had stalkers. I've had crazy crap happen to me. But, you know, at the same time, you got to figure out a way around it. So it's tough.
Yeah. In my writing class, we talked about cancel culture. And we talked about, like, Dixie Chicks, who I never knew about until now.
Chicks.
Yeah. And then we also, like, talked about, like, Ellen DeGeneres.
DeGeneres, yeah.
DeGeneres or the?
Yeah, D.
Oh, I said that wrong my whole life. We talked like other little things we just like heard online, or she's heard online. And through all that, at the end, we had to write this whole essay, including a counterclaim paragraph of is cancel culture beneficial or like negative or whatever, harmful or beneficial. And when we shared out to the class of like our ideas, the people who said it was beneficial, I stared at them like trying to understand how they thought that was beneficial. Because personally, the way I see it is it's this culture where people just like can go online and have all the power over someone else. And it's like they can hurt anybody just by words or by like, hey, I think this person did that, and the person's ruined for life.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know how, like, people were saying, oh, and it mellows out, like, online social media and all this stuff. But I see it as, like, it's a negative impact to everyone, and people just need to, like, calm down, because people make mistakes, and you should just, like, stay out of people's business, personally.
It's a tough one, because in the beginning of the cancel culture, it was beneficial, and it turned into ridiculous. But when the reason why it first started was extremely beneficial. It needed to happen. But where it's gone from there is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens in all our culture all the time. Whatever is the new fad becomes the new fad, whatever that is, in many different ways. And sometimes most of the time it is ridiculous. The very beginning it's really cool. But then it goes somewhere else and it becomes, you know, like for example, the grunge rock era of the 90s was amazing. But once we got so inundated by new bands trying to be that sound that weren't, we got bored of it. And as soon as we got bored of it, it turned into this pop grunge called emo. And it was the worst music ever. But it sold more and did better than grunge did and lasted longer. But it was more poppy, cheesier, no substance to it at all, no amazing instrumental or anything like that. It's a joke to my generation, but that's what happens. So grunge caused all that. If grunge had never happened, emo would never have happened.
It's like a domino effect.
Mm-hmm. So the question is going to be, how long is cancel culture going to happen, and then what's going to be the new version of it or the new transition to get out of it? Are we going to get into a point where instead of cancel, it's going to be like you can do whatever you want now. You have the freedom to be obnoxious and do everything wrong, and who cares? We'll see when we hit that wall and we make that transition into the less cancel if that's possible. With social media, it may never be possible.
Yeah, we had talked about like a Hailey Bieber and then like a different Kanye West thing, and those things like had little impacts to it, and it was just like putting the celebrities in their place to like who they were. And I mean, that's not that bad. It just depends how far fans go with it.
Well, there was one football player, Michael Vick was a football player for the Atlanta Falcons, and he got caught abusing and fighting pit bulls. Severe torment of pit bulls, and had this whole underground fighting community going on of fighting dogs. And he got busted for it and got canceled for a while. And we finally let it go. Like, we kind of eased off of it, but for like a decade we had nothing to do with him because of what he was doing to these dogs. It was bad.
But like building onto the cancel culture, what we talked about in class was in the future, if we don't stop cancel culture, if we do stop cancel culture, what will happen? Because if we like stop it, depending on how far people go with it right now, or like in the next 10 years. Is it going to get
worse or is it going to get better? Yes.
Yeah, because if it disappears, people can like forget who they are, like just go crazy online, and they can't get like held back for their they can't be responsible for their like actions because people aren't like acknowledging it that much.
Well, one of the problems with that is that mean that like social media is going to have to change? Are we going to have a new form of social media, or are these forms going to keep allowing this?
And then building onto that, like if cancel culture keeps going, my response to the question she asked of like what would happen is, personally, if we kept having cancel culture, people would like stop going online, would disappear like entirely just so they weren't like offended, because I've heard creators be like, it's like scary to post one thing and be like, oh, I wonder if like people are gonna hate me for this one image because I had like this one mistake.
I have to be very careful about everything I post. We've talked about that before because of who I am in my industry. I have to be same thing with next week. And I said this last year, and I had this conversation yesterday with the safety director of ASCC, of the organization I'm a part of. Last year, when I got to that recording, I was like, what's your safety protocol? And they were like, what are you talking about? And I had to like go, hold on. Nothing's happening tomorrow live on YouTube until I know how you're going to handle this safety situation, because if I'm going to be a judge on this and my face is going to be out there, this industry is going to recognize I'm tolerating terrible safety. I cannot do that. I cannot jeopardize my reputation to be a part of this show if you're not going to take these things serious. On top of that, you're expecting to get on Netflix from doing this. What do you think Netflix is going to say when they watch your video and they say, why is there dust everywhere? Why is nobody protected? What is going on? If you literally let them sit and play, that's something we didn't put in safety too, but if you let them go out there in flip-flops and shorts, what is that going to say to the industry that you're representing? And what is that going to say to the public that doesn't know about this industry? And they were like, well, what did we do? So I had to make new guidelines for safety right then and there on the spot. And we were changing things throughout the show. I had a conference call Thursday with that company because I am now the safety director of the show because of it. And I'm like, fine, I will take responsibility for that as long as you listen to me. And we'll see how it goes this year. It should be better. I almost stopped the show last year during it because of all the dust that was in the air that wasn't getting maintained. And I'm like, we can't have this. We have public people inhaling toxic chemicals that are not good for anybody. And I was like, either we're going to shut this down or you're going to get it fixed right now. Like, I was forceful about it. And this year I'm the commentator. So what's that mean? Because they're not going to stop me from talking. So we've already talked about it Thursday. Like, I need to bring all of this up. They want me to have that discussion live and make sure people understand safety protocols. And even if we're not completely following them perfect, I talked to ASCC yesterday about that, the safety director. And I was like, hey man, I want you to know these certain things are not going to be done. Like, we're not wearing hard hats. There's certain things we are not going to do because it's filmed. Mm-hmm. We can't do those. And he said, well, all I care about is if you explain that. And I was like, oh yeah, not a problem, because I'm the commentator. That's my job. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be able to start to show off and start talking about that kind of stuff as they're going and go, they're not following safety right now because of this, this, and this. But you need to know that they can't do this and these things they should be doing. And, they just blew a whistle on them for it. They just got penalized 5 points. Like, stuff like that's going to happen. I can't wait. So I get to be the safety Nazi, if you will, which is going to be a weird thing because in that organization, ASCC, I'm probably considered one of the least safe people.
Why? Because
I will not wear a hard hat and yellow vest on a residential house. Like, there's a lot of rules to safety where there's something over top of you or not and things like that. But ASCC is just like, no. We're just going to do safety to the highest level possible. End of conversation. And it is what it is, period. Because we should all do it that way. And I would do like an article where I have pictures of me doing something in a demonstration. And they would call me and go, hey, I just read this nice article you wrote. Why did you not do this safety, this? I'm like, because you wouldn't see me in the picture. All you would see is all the safety. So, well, I want to be in the picture. I'm not doing anything wrong. There's nobody around me. They're like, yeah, but you are, because you're representing the industry. If you don't do it right, why would someone else do it? So you have to remember that everything you do, if you're going to put your face out there and become the name that you're becoming, it has all of this with it. Like the great slogan of Spider-Man, with great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. The more powerful I become in this industry, the more responsibility I take on to represent it correctly. And I have to do this correctly. And I think that's a huge honor, but it's a lot for me to handle.
Yeah, with celebrities, like one wrong move and you're like canceled. But like if cancel culture keeps going, people would be too scared to make that one move that I feel like social media might either shut down or be like put on a new platform.
What would the new platform be, and how is it? Because they keep making new platforms thinking that they're going to fix that, and they don't.
And that's like, there's two possibilities for that. Or people just like stop just cancel culture altogether.
It'll never happen.
And yeah, like there can never be a perfect moment for that. These people just have to be annoying.
It's really crazy how it all works.
One end, cancel culture helps. The other end, it's a nightmare.
All right, so with that said, we have more to do today. So thanks for spending time with me. I hope this went according to your plan.
Yeah,
we might just delete the first half of it and put the second half together because that was more interesting once we got going.
You can put like two different ones. I don't care.
Yeah, maybe it is a part 1 and part 2, but
because half of it was music, half of it was cancel culture.
The cancel culture part is good. So, all right, well, thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening to us.